Caloroga Shark Media.
I'm actually sweating. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac, poolside with your daily comedy news. A little warmer out here today. I got to finish recording this one so I can jump in the pool. Catching up on late night, they were talking about, that guy was sentenced last week. You probably heard about that. Jimmy Fallon said the big question now is whether Trump will get jail time or house arrest. If he's sentenced to jail, Melania will be inside the courtroom chanting 4 more years. Fallon again, Trump will be sentenced on July 11th. His lawyers told him, you should get your affairs in order. And Trump was like, that's what got me in trouble in the first place. You almost need a rim shot there, don't you? Seth Meyers said, that's right. Former President Trump was found guilty last week on 34 counts of falsifying business records and faces up to 4 years in jail and a $5,000 fine. And I think I speak for all of us when I say you can waive the fine. Send your letters to Seth Meyers. I'm just here to report on comedy. Sticking with late night, the wonderful website Late Nighter reports that news that Jon Stewart was returning to The Daily Show was a close secret, but Trevor Noah knew about it. Trevor posted on his YouTube channel that he was one of the few entrusted with Jon Stewart's secret. Trevor posted a clip from a stand-up show he did back in January. During the Q&A segment of Trevor's show, he was asked how early he knew about Jon. He said, that's the greatest thing ever. You kidding me? You know that moment where you don't know that a Marvel hero is going to jump into another movie? That's what it sort of feels like. Trevor said when he heard the news, I literally messaged him. I was like, you son of a bee, you figured it out. But since Trevor knew before everybody else, he said there's nothing worse than having a secret that's cool, but you can't say anything. I felt like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. I just came for a tour. I just wanted some of the Wonka bars, and the next thing, I'm managing the Oompa Loompas. Marlon Wayans' new special, Good Grief, is out on Amazon. He has a big chunk about Magic Johnson. He tells the LA Times, I'm just using magic as an example of life sometimes dealing you bad cards, but it's not about the cards you get. It's how you play them. Magic Johnson got dealt a bad hand with this disease, HIV, yet he still finds a way to live his best life. This whole special is really about finding that glory within your pain. Marlon, doing a lot of press, also spoke to People. He's not down with the whole Cat Williams controversy stuff. He says, I think comedy is a gentleman's game. It's comedy. I don't like all the disharmony. I think for comedy and black comedy, it's important for people to see love, respect, and laughter. Not everybody has that experience, but that's the experience I come from. I'm not going to sit there and talk bad, even if I have a problem with somebody. I'll probably call them up and have a sit down. If there is a beef with Dave or Cat or somebody, I'll be the first to get on the phone with Dave and call Cat's people, me and Rick Grant, like, yo, let's set a meeting to see our heroes fight. I don't think that's why we're here. We're here to be examples, not just in the industry, but with our behavior. We're here to be examples for those coming up behind us. The LA Times had several comedy articles all in a bunch this week. One of them, a profile of Taylor Tomlinson, who said, when I was 20, I thought I was going to be married by age 30. I would maybe getting ready to have kids. I thought if I could tour theaters in my 30s, that'd be incredible. The fact I was able to do that in my mid-20s, now I don't even know if I want to get married or have kids. It's so strange to feel so differently about everything, but it is comforting to look at where you are and how it's not what you envision and go, oh, but I like this too. As for hosting After Midnight, I was looking for reasons not to do it, but then she found out they would only need her Monday through Wednesday, which allowed her to tour on the weekends. As for her role as host, and this is very smart, she says, my goal is for me not to be the funniest person up there. If I'm funny, that's a bonus, but my job is to make my guests as funny as possible. Time out. You'll hear me and Mark Malkoff talk about that in Saturday's episode, as well as set them up as I can and make it a great experience for them. I was really surprised that I want to do this job, but I was feeling some loneliness, not on the road. On the road, I had my tour manager, my best friend opening for me. I had what I felt was a team, but then I'd come home to L.A. and feel like I was floating to the point where I was like, should I not live in L.A.? The L.A. Times once again spoke to J.B. Smoove. He talked about auditioning for Curb. JB says, I didn't even know that the process was to improv in front of Larry David with Larry, but I do have this thing where I love to go in the room as the character. I like to drive the car, meaning that I like to control the room. Coming from the stand-up world, it's kind of what we do. We step on stage, we control the room. We have the microphone, we're the loudest person. So I took that and I said, I'm going in as this character. You see how I walk in the room? You see my mannerisms right away. If I can make you laugh without saying a word, I got you. LA Times asked how much of you makes it into the characters you play, JB. He said, when I put my wardrobe on, I immediately become this dude. And literally, I feel like he's not me. We have the same cadence, maybe here and there, but we're two different people. The funny thing is sometimes on my way home from the set, my wife would call me to see how my day was. And she'd say, what did Leon say today? And I'm literally telling her what he did today. But the writers in the room, they know your cadence, they know your delivery, they know things you don't know about yourself. They see your little quirks, and they end up being part of your character. That reminds me, I was so happy with my half-assed triumph of the Insult Comic Dog impression yesterday. I sent it to Deacon Mike in Cleveland, and then he was sending me back voicemails of him doing Triumph. Don't start doing Triumph impressions. It's very addicting. We were trading them for like half an hour, and believe me, I looked for stories today about either Smigel or Triumph just for an excuse to do the impression. Couldn't find one. As I walk around my house babbling to myself, I have found I can't do a half-assed Triumph at all unless I have a proper Triumph script. I can't just ad-lib Triumph, whereas Deacon Mike apparently can ad-lib Triumph. So maybe I'll let him host the show one day. Natasha Leggero spoke to skateboarding.com, your home for skateboarding news. What'd you think I was going to say? She was on Tony Hawk's podcast, and she said, you know what I like about skateboarding? Actually, Natasha, I don't. Tell us. It's the only sport that's associated with cool subcultures, in my opinion. I mean, football, soccer, give me a break. All right, you've heard me talk about it for a few days. I'm excited to share with you my interview with Mark Malkoff on Saturday. That's an hour-long conversation about late night and related topics. If you can't wait, become a premium subscriber. It's already in the premium feed. I know Becky's already listened to it. Hey, Becky, I took care of you. I recorded a short bonus episode just for the premium feeds for Saturday, so you'll have something to listen to. You see, Becky's already heard Saturday's show, so she's going to get up Saturday and be like, I don't have any Johnny Mac today. Well, good news. You've got about 3.5 minutes of me babbling while driving home from the donuts chain. That'll be in the premium feed. That's probably not a reason to subscribe to the premium feed. But if you want to hear Mark Malkoff early, or you would like these episodes ad-free, now there's a reason. $4.99 a month. The link is in the show notes. Caloroga.supportingcast.fm. We've solved that whole 3 a.m., 7 a.m. thing where I had to get out of bed and load things manually. It's all set. Oh, and you can use whatever app you want. Pocket Cast, use it. Spotify, use it. Apple Podcasts, use it. Joe's Podcast app. I don't know why you use Joe's Podcast app, but you can use it. I've been pretty happy with this outdoor audio. I don't know if you can hear the lawnmower landscapers to my right. The mic really hasn't been picking that stuff up, which is fine, right? Because then I can really sit outside and you guys won't be like, what is he even doing? But I figure it's the summer and it's a comedy podcast. And I am influenced by 80s Letterman. And I'd like to think 80s Dave would appreciate me sitting next to the pool recording this thing while the landscapers go. Why not? All right, this one from the Daily Mail. I'm going to have to clean it up quite a bit. Jaime Caravaca is a Spanish comedian who was in the middle of performing a set in Madrid on Monday night. Jaime was suddenly interrupted by an enraged father who walked on stage and hit him in the head. Why? The attacker was heard saying, "Those pedophiles. Comments about my son, say them to my face, you piece of trash now." All right, what is this all about? Apparently, Mr. Caravaca, the day before on social media, had made a comment on the attacker's son. The attacker had posted a photo of himself and his young son on Twitter. The caption said, "Pride and joy." Caravaca then posted something which I will quite clean up. No one will be able to avoid the possibility of your son being gay, and that when he's older, he will become sick of doing favors. And for whatever reason, Caravaca commented on the skin pigmentation of the people you would perform the favors on. Did I say on? For. I think we all know what I'm talking about now. Leave it in. The father said, "What were you saying, huh? That my son was going to eat, something, move on. He's 3 months old. Trash. Now what? Say it to my face. Say it to my face right now." Oh, this is good. I hope you can hear the leaf blowers. This is fun. 80s Dave would love it. An unidentified man interfered. The father said, "I'm sorry. I'm just a father who's defending his child. He's made sexualizing comments about my 3-month-old son." I don't know why the comedian would post that. That's just a weird move to begin with. It's not even funny. The father then points to Caravaca and says, "That has its consequences." He called Caravaca a clown and then smacked him in the face again and walked off stage. Police called to the scene, made no arrests, as the comedian chose not to file a complaint against the father. Awkwardly switching topics, Eugene Merman, who supposedly stars in Bob's Burgers, you know my deal with that. Yeah, right. He's announced a tour. It's called An Evening of Whimsy and Mild Grievances. This kicks off September 6th in Seattle. I'm shouting over the landscaper so you probably can't even hear now. I love it. Portland in September, and then taking all of October off. Presumably he'll plug in some dates there. Madison, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and Chicago on November 6th, 7th, and 8th. Michael Keaton is trying to trick me into saying Beetlejuice 3 times. It's not going to work, but he was talking about that character in that movie, you know the one, and he said there'd been so much merchandising of it, I had to drop back to where it started. I had to go, What was my unusual imagination even thinking about it when I was developing in the first place, as opposed to seeing a coffee mug or a golf club cover? That was weird. To be honest with you, being very frank, it was off-putting to look at it and go, I don't want to look at all these things. F that. What was the thing that started this? On Gossip Corner, Joe Coy turned 53. He celebrated his birthday by making a last-minute announcement for a meet and greet, swag, and a round of drinks at the popular Filipino-American drink and dessert chain Cafe 86. You'll find Cafe 86 in Artesia, California. Joe Coy said, come say hi, come say happy birthday. And I brought a whole bunch of merch I'm just going to give away for free. It's about the community, y'all. Filipinos supporting other Filipinos. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. So this is on me. This is how we're going to hang out, guys, on my birthday. About 200 people showed up. Joe Coy hung out for a few hours. He then shared, I spent this whole day with my family. Thank you, Cafe 86. We did it, and everybody that came out, stay blessed, stay warm, and stay around your family. I love you guys. Cheers. Joe Coy is on Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight. Michelle Bateau is taping her special at Radio City tonight. One of the listeners told me on the side, listener, you know who you are. The listener is DMing me, so I don't like to reveal people. Perhaps this person wants to stay private, but thank you for the note. The listener told me that Michelle is the first female comedian to record a special at Radio City. That surprised me. It's 2024. Radio City Music Hall is not new. You would have thought somebody did it by now, but I guess not. Paste Magazine watched Dan Licata's new special For the Boys, which was filmed in front of an auditorium of 15-year-old male students at Licata's alma mater, Amherst Central High School in Buffalo. Pace says Licata performs as a heightened, blustering version of himself, his persona coming across like a stoner friend of AJ Soprano's who never quite grew up, sprinkled with malapropisms and his unofficial catchphrase, you know how to do it to him. Licata's hour is made up of one-off stories that are all hyperbole and unbridled vulgarity. For the Boys is streaming for free on YouTube. All right, I'm going in the pool. That's your comedy news for today. If you'd like this thing ad-free, I explained that already, didn't I? And the promo's probably going to run next anyway. Just listen to that. They'll tell you what to do. See you tomorrow.